Welcome to the joint. What's popping with y'all out there? I want to talk about this. Charlo Twins. Are we looking at the beginning of their demise? You guys tell me. I can tell you what I think, but um, depending on how much of a fan you are, um, it could go either way what people think. But I think we're looking at the demise of the Charlo Twins. Never fear, though. We do have some more twins to come behind there. I was going to talk about the Grandy twins, but I'll get into that later. But anyway, that's the topic of the day. But y'all know what we do. First, let's turn to. Welcome back. Welcome back to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. Y'all see the thumbnail, Charlo Twins. Are we looking at their demise? We're gonna get into it. And that's my conclusion, but I have reasons to have that conclusion. I ain't just pulling it out the air. It's not the conclusion, but I see it as pretty much being it. First, I would like to ask you guys if you're joining me, hit that like button and also hit the share button as many times as you often can. Every time you come into the building, hit the like button. And please, please, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you already have, you locked in, don't touch that dial. And any questions, statements, or anything you feel, I could be reached at boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. That's boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. And by the way, I do like Cash App. I have had my run-ins with YouTube, not counting my subscribers, not counting the views. I couldn't tell you why, but I mean, hey, you can hit me off at Cash App, Boxing Fans Talk TV. That's Boxing Fans Talk TV at any time. I much appreciate any donations that you guys got to give. We coming to you live on Labor Day. Normally it should be a day off for most people, but I'm not in no particular formal school setting or anything. So or work. So it's not the same. But it is Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to everyone. Happy birthday to all the August birthdays. We just left August. Now we in Virgo season. So happy birthday to all the Virgo. Oh, you know what? Happy birthday to one of my coolest friends that I've known for some years. She don't probably watch, but Jewel, happy birthday. um, and so and anybody else birthdays out there, once again, it's Virgo season. So we're gonna get into this, okay? Don't again when you come through, hit that like button. So let's get into the biz. So the question of the day is the Charlo twins. Are we looking at their demise due to outside distractions? as well as other things that they bring on themselves that could be avoided? For me, I think yes. But it's important to note that that demise is not concrete yet. That hasn't happened yet. It's what I see that's about to happen or is happening. But they have not come out and said, "We're done with boxing. We're finished. We're not boxing no more. We're retired." But I don't know how they come back from all the things that they find, all the predicaments they find themselves in today. You know what I'm saying? And this stuff didn't happen overnight. This was leading up to. So we're gonna talk about the past a little bit about the Charlos, why they find themselves in the predicament they in today, and can it be helped? I don't know. But I know that they have been shown mercy and grace throughout the years. I'm not mad at that. I know that people could think that if you're a Bud fan, you possibly couldn't be a Charlo fan, and that's not true. Even with Charlo, uh, Jermell Charlo going hard in the paint on Deontay Wilder for what we still don't know why that was the case. I still was a Charlo fan, and y'all know I was a big Deontay fan, and I said I was. Deontay, you still cool with me, but I think your boxing career is done, and that's why I say I was. Not that you did nothing to me or I'm disappointed in you. You really gave a gallant effort, and you'll be somebody I remember in boxing. And I think you will be a Hall of Famer. So, getting back to the Charlos. So, when they first came on the scene, we noticed, oh wow, it's twins. I don't think they the first twins to ever do it, but I think it was we hadn't seen twins in a while. And so we was like, oh, and even back then, you could tell that they wanted to be known individually. They knew they was twins. They couldn't get around that, but they was fighting for their independence or their individuality, even back then, even on a small scale, because they got along really well when they first burst onto the scene. But you could tell in things like, to me, I could say they going out their way to look different, to distinguish themselves from the other person. Over the years, you hear Big Charlo and Little Charlo, and Jermell, he doesn't like to be called Little Charlo. He didn't like it. He didn't embrace it at first. But with twins, they don't come out the womb together side by side. They one come out first, and the other one. I don't need to have to explain this, but we know this. So that's the struggle that I seen mostly, and it was amicable in the beginning, but as time wore on, it got bad. They're fussing, going back and forth at each other, bickering between the two, saying some negative, awful things to each other in the public eye. But like a lot of people, I chose to stay out of it, as best I could. And I think a lot of people took that high ground. They're brothers, for God's sake. Hey, let brothers handle that. There is a such thing as sibling rivalry. You can even have that between the oldest to the youngest or the second child or whatever. I'm a middle child, so I got all the bells and whistles that come with that. So I know, and I could feel Jermell's pain in that regard because, as I said, sibling rivalry is nothing new. We all go through it. If you have siblings, uh, say yup in the chat. Yeah, because we do. I have an older sister, and there was always comparisons made between me and her, never between me and my brother, who was younger than us, or her and my brother, just between me and her. And I was like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? And of course, I'm gonna be honest. I think I lost. I came up short. I mean, I'm over it now. We talking 30, 40 years ago. But I think I always came up short. And I'm being the youngest and the youngest daughter order. I ain't the youngest daughter no more. But at the time, yeah. And so, she just was the older sister. Everything went kind of like how she wanted it to go. And I did feel like, damn, but I'm me. I'm a whole person, we were different, so I was able to carve out my autonomy from her. My sister is more like a girly girl. I was more like a tomboy, so I had my niche, I had my friends. She had her niche, she had her friends, but we was always compared, and I couldn't stand that shit, especially, if you coming up short all the time. I definitely couldn't stand it. Jason Wim is in the building. He said, "Peace and blessing, Miss T." He said, "I recall watching something where Jermell spoke on that. He felt left behind because he was behind in his career. He didn't have the high KO ratio. It was an insight. It was insightful. Indeed, everybody was peeping that, but all of us collectively, I'm talking commentators, YouTube creators, whoever, we show mercy and grace because we should. We all go through it. And when I left for the military, I had to leave. So I can feel this shit because I had to leave because who was I behind her shadows? But it ain't my sister's fault. It was never her fault. And I never looked at it like that. I just like the people ain't gonna let me live. They ain't gonna let me breathe. I am not her. She is not me. We are two distinctive different people. And we won't even twins. But we like a year and a half apart. So we close in age. And I guess at the time I was growing taller than her throughout the years. So she was only bigger than me for a little bit, but then I started getting bigger than her. But anyway, when we watched Jermell, we saw that. But again, that's their business. So we gave that a pass. Then we watched the Charlos go through this period. And I mean, it was a long period. It was about 5 years or so. Where they just angry at everything and everybody. Now, you can be angry and you probably have good reason. But if we don't know why, it just looks crazy. You couldn't put a microphone and a camera in neither one of their face without them going off on a tangent or snapping or talking like they are stone cold mad about something. Couldn't understand why. Why are you angry, Jamel? Why are you angry, Jamal? Then we gave a pass on that because we was like, maybe they just trying to sell a fight. But then they were doing that shit in between fights, leading up to a fight, after a fight. It was never no time that these two guys who are blessed was happy, not in the public's eye. They always was upset. And dude, you getting opportunities, you getting seen, you fighting on Showtime, you're getting popular, you're almost becoming a household name, you're making millions. What the fuck are you mad at? Really? Ain't no time are you happy? Just suppose that to the other fighters out there that's doing the same thing. They know how to turn it on and turn it off. I mean, even look at AB. AB was happy all the time. He was out there just having the best time of his life. When he led up to the fight, he talked a lot of shit, but I didn't get that angry thing with him. And so then they go on to, despite being angry, they're talking about people. They insulted people, even people that not even in their lane. Like Adrian Broner or Tank Davis was never in Jermall Charlo's lane. They three different weight classes at that time. But he said some negative shit like, "Hey, you might as well put me as a headliner because every time I'm on this nigga's undercard, he always losing. I do my part." He was talking about AB, who was going through his own little turmoil at the time. So, we was like, where that's coming from? Then he said something about Tank, "You little motherfucker, I'll beat your mother," something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing, but something to that effect. So he's like, well, what did Tank do? I was, I was tripping, but it's drama. It's drama. And most of the fans, we here for the drama too, but it's up to those fighters to keep what's going on personally outside the ring to themselves. We ain't gonna go poke the bear as fans unless you make us want to poke the bear. And so when we have profound questions like, what the hell? That makes us poke the bear. And every time that Jamal is saying something crazy, he drunk. So okay, first that's that right there is is a no-no. If you're a boxer, that shows that you're not living the boxing lifestyle. You're getting intoxicated, and every time you you want to go off the tangent and say some crazy shit, you got to be intoxicated to do it. That's not a good look. You already can look as a boxing fan and know his time ain't gonna be that much longer because he drinks like that to the point of intoxication. An example could be Omar Figueroa. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. To the casuals listening, you can go look him up. Dude was washed out by the time he was 28, 29. How the fuck? Youth is a hot commodity. How at 28, 29 you're washed up? A has been. Omar Figueroa. That alcohol caught up with his ass. And how it catch up with you individually is different from person to person. So we've seen examples of it. Yeah, you could drink, smoke weed, do whatever. In the beginning of your career, like when you're 20, 21, maybe even 19, and still be great, still win your fights and all that. But that shit is gonna catch up with you. And every boxing fan, true boxing fan, knows that, and every boxer knows that. That's why they talk like when they nowadays they be like, I got a nutritionist now. I'm doing good, I'm living that boxing lifestyle. They get it now. But when you 20, 21, it's hard to tell anybody anything. We were all like that when we were young. You probably couldn't tell me nothing at 20, 21. I just knew what I knew. And which is to say, when I look back now, is I knew nothing. Okay. So we watched them go through that. We watched Jermell derail and go off on a tangent on Deontay, another person that's not in his lane. Deontay, you're not in Deontay's lane. Deontay trying to do an interview. Jermell coming in there with the negativity. Nobody else was doing it. So you're showing that you can be not malicious to another black man, and you downgrading him for the world to see. We don't know why though. Then to throw salt on the wound, here come your wife. I don't know if y'all was married then, Jermall Charlo's wife, and she comes in with the N word and she not even black. To Deontay Wilder, who from the boxing community, we don't know where that animosity came from. Jason Williams said, yeah, Maul started dealing with alcoholism due to issues at home with wifey and kids. And see, we can't, it's fair for us not to poke that bear. What he doing with his off time, with his family, that's his business. Is they make it boxing fans' business when whatever they doing outside the ring affects inside and what's going on in boxing. ATL Unanimous Boxing Sport is in the building. Was Poppy King? He said Queen T. Salute. I hope they not get it together. Great champions. I hope for the best for them too, but I think we seeing an early demise or demise. Um, then they go from that. They of course Jermell catch a lot of backlash for that debacle that he pulled on Deontay, especially his wife now. But I don't know. I think they were girlfriend and boyfriend then, especially her, because one, you're not a boxer and you talking out of turn. And how dare you, as a non-black person, be using the N word? I'm sorry. That's how it goes. Call it fair or unfair. If you ain't black, how you gonna be in the public just saying the N word? Closeness only counts in horseshoes. You know, you're dating at the time a black guy, or you involved with a black guy. You know, y'all got a child together. Don't make you black. And Deontay never said nothing to you. And shout outs to Deontay wife. At the time, she could have came back with some shit, but she stayed out of it. Okay, we watched that. We gave them backlash, you know, and that in some of them interviews, Jermell was talking about I got shooters and all this bullshit. So we had to give him a pass for that. Then he's just angry. He has animosity. Now he fights with Jermell. I mean, you know, we don't know what happened what made Jermell leave Rodney Shields because you know Jermell and Jamal used to be trained together by him. Jermell, you know, wanted to move on, and it was his right to do so. We ain't make hay of that because we don't know what actually happened. But he moves in on with Derek James, and not literally, y'all. He moves in like in training with Derek James and Earl Spence. And befriends them, get over there, get in good, and be training with them and all this stuff. And Derek James, Earl Spence, they was becoming hot at the time. Now you throw Jermell in the mix, and they even more hotter. That was a trio right there, and everybody could see it, and rightly so. They were winning. They was backing up whatever they said they was about, and in the ring at the time. And we was like, okay, Derek was a good fit for Jermell. Because Jermell, when he was with Rodney, I don't think he was the knockout person that he was when he was with Derek. So now Earl and Jermell, they have a great friendship. And I guess whoever whoever is against Earl is against Jermell by proxy. That's how Jermell felt. But Earl, he didn't really show that the other way around. That's neither here or there, but he didn't really show that. So Terrence Crawford let it be known either last year or the year before that, I don't know when, but it wasn't that long ago, that his problem with Jermell, he describes him as a cheerleader, Earl Spence cheerleader. He says one thing to be for your guy, that's your stablemate, and all that, he can understand that. But all the bad mouthing, the putting down, the animosity, y'all know the famous shut up, be humble, go fight some other people, because you fuck around and come up here with me, I'm gonna knock out others. I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. Y'all remember that? And that shit is so funny and profound, because even people that's not into boxing that saw that little interview, they crack up about it. My mama uses it every time she can in any kind of conversation with me or whoever. She be like, shut up, be humble. And I mean, we could say he had a point. Like, look, why you worried about me? Worry about what's in front of you. In other words, and Terrence could say he had a point, like, because you talking shit. That's why I keep bringing you in it. But I mean, overall, between the two situations or point of views, a lot of people sided with Jermell. Hey, you ain't even for Earl Spence yet. Shut up. Stop talking about me. I ain't think about your broke ass, your dumb ass, your uh top ranked Toby ass. That's how Jermell was feeling and talking. Okay, we give him a pass on that. Finally, we get the fight. Now, however we feel, I ain't gonna rehash the Earl and Crawford fight leading up to it, but we all know there's half of the community that feel like Earl was ducking or prolonging or stalling. He was in on it. And some people feel like it wasn't Earl, it was his promoters. And Terrence feel like, look, I've been clear. I want the fight. I even put it in my contract with my promoter that get me the fight or pay me in nickels or whatever. So I mean, clearly, when I look back at it, Terrence Crawford clearly, just on his shoulders, wanted to fight. Bob couldn't. I don't look at it like Bob tried not to get the fight. I look at it like Bob don't have no control over Spence or PBC fighters. So Bob stupidly, you could say, wrote into the contract that, hey, if I don't get you this fight with Earl, then I'm gonna pay you XYZ. And that's exactly what he did or had to do. Jason said that was hilarious. Shut up, be humble, take a little less money, whatever the case. So they finally meet in the day I always say will live in infamy, July 29th, 2023. But you got to wonder about the things that led up to that point. If y'all remember correctly, in 2022, everybody put it on terms that he didn't want the fight. That's why the fight didn't get happen. But then some of us who was arguing, counter arguing that point was that, hey, even out of Earl Spence's mouth, his own mouth, said 2023. And then y'all got to take in consideration that Terrence Crawford is constantly in talks with the sanctioning bodies that he hold belts in. He's letting them know as he know. He not like forgetting to communicate with them and this, that, and the other. Something Jermall Charlo needed to learn. I'm sure he regrets not communicating. But Terrence Crawford was always communicating, and the sanctioning body, the WBO, was like, yo, look, we will give you a little latitude to fight Earl Spence, to go for undisputed. But if you're not gonna fight Earl Spence, you still are under the rules of our sanctioning body, which is every 9 months you have to defend that title. So while I would stand up here and say Terrence Crawford had no choice but to take the fight with Ebenezer, and some of you guys would say, no, he had choice. But had he not taken the fight with Ebenezer and Boots, whoever, he would have been stripped of his title December 2022, not January 2023. And if he's stripped of his title, why should Earl give him a chance at the belts? Earl could move on happily, have plausible deniability. Like, look, dog, you just took an L. You know how Floyd told Pacquiao and them, and people who was for Pacquiao, he said, hey, he still got Marquez problems. Floyd was funny like that. He said he still got Marquez problems. ATL said, hell nah, I ain't buying it. Okay. And so I'm just taking y'all through a little, not absolute to the letter timeline, but it's just a little timeline. So the casuals that are listening out there, you can understand this is a period 5 to 6 years. I mean, this is how long this shit been going on. Everything that I'm saying. So they finally get the fight. Now, before that happened, before July 29th, in June of 2022, I believe, Jermall Charlo was slated to fight Tim Tszyu. The fight was made back then. Because I remember saying on the show, why the fuck it takes 6 months to make this fight happen? Why y'all sign? I've never heard of that. You know, they sign a fight and within a couple of months the fight happens. But 6 months, I was like, whoa. So right before Christmas of December, this is after Terrence and Ebenezer fought. Jermell had an incident with his hand or accident or something. He hurt his hand, right? So he comes online or in social media some kind of way, and he proclaims, hey, you know, my hand is broke. You know, here's my proof, whatever proof he offered at the time. And that was that. I ain't fighting in January because Tim Tszyu and him was slated to fight January 29th, 2023. And that was what he said. And then WBO was like, excuse me, sir. No, 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 sir. No, sir. You got a week, or he got something like 8 days or something to come back. And I believe January 5th was the deadline to come back and show us the legitimacy of it all. You know, why your hand broke? Is it really broke? What's the deal? How long we got to wait? Woo to woo to woo. If you don't, we stripping you. So Jermell, now he gets in communication with the WBO, and that should have been one of the first people he called when he broke his hand, but apparently he didn't, because the WBO was like shocked too, like what the fuck. So okay, now he proved his point. The WBO is like, yo, you know, you got time, you can postpone it. We're gonna wait on you. Cool. Meanwhile, you know, everybody's still talking about the Terrence and possible Earl Spence fight. Shortly after that, Earl Spence has a car accident, his second one. Not as devastating as the first one, because now he drive armor-plated vehicles. That vehicle was fucked up. But if you go, and I tried, if you go try to look up public records on that accident, it don't exist. I'm just telling you what I tried to do, and I didn't see it. If somebody else will try and found it, by all means, do share. But I've always put out that, no, it's not even on record. You can't find nothing. He said a young kid driving their parents' car, and the parents' car didn't have insurance, and I guess he tore up the armor plated car. And then if the parents' car didn't have an insurance, do you think the parents was driving another armor plated car? I think not. I think the way they described it, like they was just driving a bucket, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Now, a bucket made that kind of damage to an armor plated car. Where is the little boy who was supposed to be 14 driving it? Whoop de whoop de whoop. Earl Spence came out. All that part is not important for the story. The part that's important is that Earl Spence. This was shortly after Charlo got G checked by WBO. Hey, show proof or get stripped. Earl Spence comes out, and he holds 3 belts at the time: the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF. He comes out and say, "Hey, I just had this accident." He gave us the gist of it. And he said, yeah, so my fight with Keith Thurman, because he was slated to fight Keith Thurman like around the first week or so of February. No matter how we feel about it, we went through the fact that Keith had that opportunity. So he was, but Earl maintained from years ago, he'll never fight Keith. He don't want to fight Keith. He's mad at Keith or whatever. Sound emotional to me. So Earl kept his word. He's like, I'm not fighting him. So guess what? The the WBC, IBF, and WBA did not hold him accountable. They didn't ask for no questions. They didn't G check them like they did Charlo. They didn't say nothing. They just took his word for it. And PBC took his word for it. There was no legitimacy formally submitted from Earl Spence to this day. It was never done because everybody just took his word for it. And I ain't bitter about it. I mean, because we got the fight in the end of the day. And what we knew was what we knew came to be true, that Terrence was a better fighter. So, but to this day, maybe if they never had that fight, him and Terrence, maybe we'll still be arguing about that shit. But anywho, he didn't get G checked. That's my point. They took his word for it and called the fight off. Now Earl put himself in a predicament. I've made shows about that. He was three-way predicament or four-way predicament. Everybody coming at him. He had obligation to face Emiliano Stanionis. He had an obligation to face Boots. He had an obligation to face Keith Thurman. And of course, the obligation to face Terrence Crawford, which all the world wanted to see. So, in the process of all this going on, Jermell is still talking shit, still bad mouthing Crawford, all this good stuff. And Crawford is like, oh, and Crawford comes out and explains why he don't like Jermell. He says wishy-washy, fair weather friend. They once were cool. They even came up to Omaha, chilled with him. He chilled with them. He was cool with both Jermell brothers, Jermall and their other brother. And he don't know what happened. I mean, why didn't he didn't say this, but when we found out that Adrian Broner told Terrence to his face, and Terrence and them feel like he was a man about it. Wonky. My computer was acting wonky, so I was holding up. I don't know if y'all heard me. And so Terrence said that's what his problem is with Jermell. Like, you made it personal and all that. You didn't have to get like this. We was once friends. What the fuck? I ain't mad that that's your guy, that's your stablemate. Of course you're gonna be down for him. But what's all the animosity and this, that, and the other? So as we watching the fight, you can go back and just watch the epilogue and you'll get all this information. Terrence Crawford was really calling out Jermall Charlo in that ring, calling him a bitch, everything. You next. Okay. Which was hyping all Terrence fans and the fans alike. We like, yeah. You know. So when he won, he really was like, yo, that was the next step. But Earl Spence had the rematch clause, right? So Earl could have came back and was like, nah, I want the rematch clause. I'm going again. Run it back. Terrence Crawford, cool. Run it back. Pick the weight. Because you the one complaining about I can't make the weight. 147, 154. I think both of them could have made 147 and ran it back, me personally. But if they fought at 154, it wouldn't have been for the belts, but they would have just been a fight, which people still would have wanted to see. So, all that to say, Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence, and Jermall Charlo, and we talk about the Charlo twins, they have had ample time to elevate and exacerbate their situation, like meaning make more money than they ever did. All three of them gentlemen were in a great place in boxing to finally obtain what they all wanted, either uh, undisputed or whatever. And at this time, Jermall Charlo was the undisputed champion at 154. So I mean, he got 10 million for the Castano fight because he bragged about it after the fight when he was getting on his private plane. I believe he got 10 million for the Canelo fight. Now let's go from there after last year fight with EJ and Crawford. It was up to Spence, as we said, to do the rematch, but then it was up to Jermell to be like, you know what? After he done said, be humble, or shut up, be humble, and all that, gave turns his marching orders. Now it's time, Jermell. Like, what you gonna do? So I'm thinking Jermell gonna make the fight. Jermell again going back to earlier that year, fight got postponed with Tim Zoo because his hand. So Tim Zoo was in line before there ever was a Canelo thing. And everybody's, mad at Bud because he went behind everybody back and made the fight with Anthonesian. He didn't go behind nobody back when we clearly showed that they were saying 2023 and it was 2024. I mean 22. So Jermell did the same thing. The opportunity came where he could fight the face of boxing. No matter what we could say about Terrence Crawford being pound for pound, the face of boxing, arguably Canelo can make that claim. He is the face of boxing. He is the cash cow. And just like when Floyd was the face of boxing and cash cow, if Floyd gave you an opportunity, talking about Floyd Mayweather, to fight him, you will be a fool. No matter what you had going on to turn it down, because fighting Floyd meant if you wasn't before, you became a millionaire that night. I think Canelo earned some odd $12 million. I'm talking about for the purse. I ain't even talking about including the black back end and all that. I think he earned about $12 million first. Whatever he earned in the back end was just extra. So according to that, Canelo, that's when his earning potential, got bigger. I think Canelo fought Floyd before Pacquiao the year before. So that's 2014. Canelo was on his way to being a cash cow, and Floyd was on his way to being retired. So Canelo took the lemons that Floyd gave him and made lemonade, and rightly so. It doesn't matter where he was trying to go in his career. That was an opportunity. So anytime Canelo, all that to say, Canelo has taken over where Floyd left off in that respect. And anytime he offered an opportunity, you'll be a fool if you don't take it. And nobody's gonna begrudge you or look at you like you crazy. I don't even think Bud said anything negative about Jermell choosing to fight Canelo. Now the rumor was that Canelo was trying to fight his brother Jermall, but Jermall still being in the predicament that he was in, he had to pass it up and pass it on to his brother, and was hoping that he could circle back, and come get that. But Jermell, to me, and this is my conclusion, and I don't have no proof of this, I just felt that he was saving face. Because Jermell actually had 3 pathways to go. He could have went on ahead after EJ and Crawford duked it out, and he could have went on kept his promise or his word or whatever, and fought Tim Zoo, knocked him off. That would have been a big fight. Because now we at the mega fight, and the guy in the ring is calling you out. Like, you next, bitch. You are next. So just anticipation of that would have made any fight that Jermell did profitable. It would have been a big fight. So we know that's on the horizon. But you got to take care of business first. And business at the time was Tim Zoo. So Jermell eventually opted out and did not fight Tim Zoo by picking Canelo. And he was hoping to save face because it's Canelo. He would be a fool not to, right? He know we all gonna think that. It gave him plausible deniability. Only to go to the fight and have that lackluster performance. He basically showed up to get a check. And that's the best anybody can say about it. He protected himself enough not to get seriously hurt, and for there to be a reel out there, of him getting knocked the fuck out. But he showed up for the check. and he got paid handsomely by just fighting Canelo. Some he probably wouldn't have got paid fighting Tim Tszyu. I don't know, but he was the undisputed champion, so that carries with it. You got to pay him a little bit more. He got 10 million when he became the undisputed champion, so is maybe he could have made close to that, but he damn sure made it when he fought Canelo. WBO warned him before he even took that road to Canelo. Yo, if you do it, we're gonna strip you. And I swear, maybe at the same time, maybe the day before or whatever, they stripped him of his WBO title. So he was no longer, when that bell said ding ding for him and Canelo, he was not the undisputed 154 champion at that time because he was stripped. Call it fair, call it unfair. Y'all have to, when we look at what happens to some of these fighters, we have to look at the other side too. Is it fair to Tim Tszyu to keep getting pushed off? Is it fair that Tim Tszyu is next in line, rightfully so, and you're gonna go, let me redirect and go Canelo, somebody that's not even in your weight division, making Tim Tszyu have to wait more? That's not fair. That's what we have to look at it. So they were doing a whole lot of missteps and mismanagement or whatever. He kind of got a pass because he fought Canelo and all that, but the anger did not leave. The talking shit didn't leave. The pettiness didn't leave. Because going back to the EJ fight, Jermall Charlo showed up to that fight. And remember the incident, and let's not forget the incident with Caleb Plant, where Caleb felt like he had to smack the bejesus out of Jermall for fucking with him or talking shit or being out of pocket. Remember that? And people can say, "Oh, Jermall, you was scared," but I think Jermall knew he wasn't in his right mind. He didn't want to have an incident. He could have been drinking then, so he opted not to fight back or whatever. I don't think he was scared of Caleb, but hey, it is what it looked like. So after Caleb do all that, this is like leading up to the this is right before the Bud fight. Like it ain't even days or nothing. It was like they going to the Bud fight, and that happens. So that could have been the biggest news other than the fight. Caleb Plant smacking the shit out of Jermall Charlo and he not doing nothing. But what was equally crazy is Jermell ain't do nothing. And so in that same day, Jermell's wife, see, I don't know about that lady, but she felt it necessary for whatever her reasons are. I don't know them. To lay hands and feet on Jamal's wife. Maybe Jamal's wife had it coming, but in the end of the day, come on, Shawty. Like, as bad as me and my sister could have had rivalries, I don't think we had rivalries, but I didn't like that living behind her shadow. No way in hell am I gonna fight her husband or fight, her family or embarrass my sister. Like, I'm not doing that. And if you smack my sister, I'm smacking your ass back. Either one of my sisters. I don't care. We could be mad at each other. We both know. Let's table that for now. I'll get back in your ass tomorrow. But right now, let's go handle this bitch. That's how we are. So Jermell, he didn't do that. He didn't run to his brother rescue, nothing. So imagine the shame and embarrassment of that. And like I said, Jermall showed up for Earl Spence. When Jermell fought Canelo, Jermall showed up for that. And then fast forward to when Jermall had a fight last year with Jose Benavidez, Jermell wasn't in sight, not showing no kind of support or nothing, which some people talked about and was like, that's crazy. Okay. So a lot of shit that they had going on the outside affected him greatly. You got Jamal not living the boxer life for sure because he drinking. I know Jermell drink too, but I don't know if it's extensively as his brother. But then they're angry over shit, mad at the world, talking down on people, not all the way backing up everything they said. Because, we still don't have a Charlo and Crawford fight. Now, don't even pay for Crawford to even fight him. But Jermell comes back and immediately starts getting stripped after his fight without a fight. He don't care. He's casual about it. Oh, well, okay, take it. Uh, Jason Williams said there was a slight lag, but all good now. Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah, it does that sometimes. I don't know what it's trying to do. Hold on. Reveals So I think I've proven my point as far as all the bullshit. And this again, this ain't no year. This ain't 6 months. This is about 5, 6 years worth of shit of going back and forth, this, that, and the other with your brother, with everybody in the boxing world, putting people down, talking shit, ain't backing it up really. And that move with Canelo, I'm happy for Jermell. He got his bag, he got his coin. But he definitely saved face. Cause I really can't say, man, was you really ducking? I can assume it. I can think it a little bit, but I can't put no stamp on it. Because who is gonna turn down a Canelo fight? You'll be crazy. You'll be crazy. That's an opportunity. Even if you know that you're gonna get beat, Canelo gonna wash you. It's still an opportunity because it's boxing. Anything can happen. So now look at them. Jermall Charlo had an incident in May, another DWI or DUI, whatever, and he's been formally arrested now and charged with 3 misdemeanors. I'm surprised they call it a misdemeanor. I thought DWIs or with a driving while intoxicated. I don't know the big difference between DUI and DWI, which was less severe or which one is more severe. I don't know. But he just got that happen. That just happened to him. Um, and he also, just of note, in 2018, he had a domestic violence charge against him. He was drunk then too. Went to court a year later and got acquitted. The jury found him not guilty of that. We know it had to be his wife. We assume because after he got posted, and this back in 2018, after he posted bail or bond, that he came out on a Monday. That Tuesday, his wife Cheyenne Westbrook, I believe that's her name, she went and filed a temporary restraining order against him. So we assume that it's about them two. He gets through that. He get acquitted the next year, whatever. Whoop de whoop. They fighting all in between there, all that shit going on in between their business. May he gets a DWI, driving while intoxicated. He blows a um 0.15 or something like that, and the legal limit is 0.08. So he's like over twice the legal limit. He leaves the scene of the crime like he's fussing with the people I guess he had the accident with. His Lamborghini merges or collided with another car. Don't know where they were and were they coming off the off ramp or on ramp. I don't know, but they collided. He he fusses with them. He drives off. He don't wait for the cops. They figure out where he at. They gotta go chase him down. He's about to run a red light. They gotta box him in, and they arrested him. Or that's when he got the charges, whatever. So now he's formally charged. He has court November 7th this year to see where that's gonna go. Up until that point, a lot of people have been outcrying to Mauricio Suleiman, take his belt, take his belt, take his belt. Mauricio, more than probably anybody else that he did this for in boxing, I gotta say, he gave Jermall a solid. He was very patient with Jermall. He worked with him. He knew that Jermall was going through something, probably alcoholism, mental breakdowns and stuff. He was very patient with him. Now, just suppose that to do Mauricio do that across the board for everybody? No. Do any of the other sanctioning bodies do that for anybody? No. And think about all the people, the top 15 in the WBC ranking in 160. They can't go no further. Jamal hadn't defended that belt since June of 2021 until last year with Jose Benavidez. But before that, he hadn't defended it for some years. So everybody in that ranking was at a standstill. For that matter, everybody in the division of 160 was at a standstill because there can never be no undisputed. It can never get to that point or close to that point because Jermall had the belts and he wasn't fighting, and nobody was making them, and nobody stripped him. So for the longest time, Mauricio gave him a pass. Jermell comes back. He's probably frustrated after his loss to Canelo. Before they even said ding ding, the WBO had already stripped him. So he's probably still mad about that. He come back down, and this is what happened. Let me post this up and try to read it. So look, Jermall Charlo was arrested. Nah, that's Jermall Charlo. That's not the one I'm looking for. Sorry, I was about to go right into that. That's not it. That's not it. So hold on. I got it up. Okay, here it is. And I want y'all to see it so you don't think that I'm making this stuff up or pulling it out of my ass. So hold on. I'm gonna share this with y'all because it can explain uh a lot. Okay, look. To understand what that went down recently in Jermell's career, you gotta understand going back. You have to go back a little bit because, as I said, when he fought Canelo before the bell rung, he was no longer undisputed at 154 because they took the WBO belt. Now then, say right here it says so far he has been content to give up his other titles when placed in a similar situation. Um, he was still the undisputed champion when he entered the ring for his lopsided defeat to undisputed super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez last September in Vegas. Charlo was stripped of his WBO belt. That's one. The moment the bell sounded to begin the fight. See, I ain't making that up. Now, meanwhile, while that's going on, Israel Madrimal is petitioning the WBA for a shot at the title. Now he's petitioning. Now you got Tim Zoo. Now you got Israel Madrimal. So Charlo was stripped of his WBO belt. Okay, I said that. The IBF was next to call its mandatory title defense, a move that was 4 years in the making. You see how they said 4 years in the making? Charlo failed to reach a deal with Russia's backroom, Murtazalev, only to vacate the title just hours before a scheduled first bid hearing. So they was to the point that IBF was like, "Yo, we got a mandatory for you too, and you need to do that, or we going to purse bid." And right before the purse bid, maybe the night before, Charlo said, "Fuck it, you can take your IBF belt." This is how he felt. This. I mean, you didn't hear no big nothing about it. You just heard that he was getting stripped left and right. So now that's two belts. The WBL gone, the IBF gone. He's not undisputed at 154 no more. And as previously reported by Boxing Scene, Murtazalev is now due to fight to face Germany's Jack Kolke for the vacant IBF title on April 6th in the Berlin suburb of Falkenese, Germany. So when the IBF was gone, that gave Murtazalev a chance to claim that belt. The full version of the WBC belt will be at stake in the March 30 meeting between Sebastian Fundora and Serhii Bohachuk on the March 30 undercard of Tim Tszyu non-title fight versus Keith Thurman. So that Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu never fought, to my knowledge. But Madrimov wound up getting with somebody named Kurbanov to eventually come with the WBA title at stake. So I don't remember. I don't know if y'all remember hearing any big brouhaha about Jermall Charlo losing his WBA belt, but we know that he was placed as champion in recess when concerning the WBC belt. We know that, right? So all this stuff was going on in Jermell's life. He was getting stripped left and right. He was not acting like he was caring. He wasn't protesting. He wasn't doing any of that stuff. We know he had his battles with his brother, trying to live outside his brother's shadow. Like, we individuals, stop lumping us together. Stop comparing us together. And as I say, most of us with siblings, we understand that and all that stuff. But Jessica is in the building. What's poppin', Queen? She said salute Queen in the chat. So we know all this is going on. And this is 5 years brewing, 6 years brewing, however long. This has all been brewing. You know what I'm saying? And they have fell off. How do Charlo come back? I never thought, I don't know about you guys, I never thought that Jermell Charlo was actually going to fight his brother at 160. I think for their individualized uh, areas, that was his brother's lane, Jamal's lane at 160, and Jamel's was at 154. So I don't think they was gonna cross paths. So all he had really was 154. He was placed in a predicament where he could do plausible deniability, because if the Canelo fight didn't come up, he would have had to dust off Zoo and then fought Terrence, or he would have had to fought Terrence and then Terrence would have fought Zoo. Either way, to me, that was the most logical. But him going up to 168 to face Canelo remembered. Canelo said, I'm an elephant. I remember all that shit you had to say, negative. And I'm going to show you why you ain't shit. He didn't say it like that. That's me paraphrasing in my own way. But basically the gist of it. Because Canelo let it be known, look, dude, I'm levels above you. He didn't say it like that neither. Not like how Devin do it, but he was letting them know, dude, I'm about to beat your ass, and ain't nothing you can do about it. The fight was won at the final press conference. The fight was won at the weigh-ins. We just didn't know. We was hoping against hope. Jason Williams said Jermell got the Sonic rings. Not he went from undisputed to zero belts. Not the Sonic rings, Jason. The Mario ring. I was playing Mario the other day. He got the Mario rings knocked out of him. And hey, want a mushroom? Want a red and white mushroom in sight to get that power back up. Jermell should move to 160 and Jermall should move to 168. I think they done. I don't know that they done, and I ain't afraid to say it. I don't know. That's why I asked the question. Do y'all think it's the beginning of their demise? I don't know. But enough has gone on to make me think, yeah, pretty much it for them. It's pretty much it for them. Because where they gonna go next? You got stripped of not one, but all four of your belts. You can't say it's all because you chose Canelo. Plausible deniability went out the window after the Canelo fight when you lost one. Did you not want to face Madrimov or Kurbanov or Martellzalev or how you say his name? Did you not want to face Zoo? Did you not want to face Terrence Crawford? What could possibly have gone on that made you not want to fight nobody? Because that was the problem. Each one of those sanctioning bodies had their own issue with why they wanted to take the belts from Jermell Charlo. And we know that alcoholism is a disease, and I'm not making fun of it. But I guess for me, I will say it's hard for me to understand only because I'm not a drinker. I don't drink at all. I don't drink at all. If you ever say you found Miss T drunk, you found Miss T lie, because I don't drink. So to me, I don't see how hard it is, but I'm empathetic in the fact that just because I don't drink, there's a lot. I smoke weed, well, I smoke, but um, some people don't do that. So I'm empathetic because I don't like how I feel when people be like, "Oh, why you smoke? Like something wrong with you or something." But I be feeling like something wrong with people when they drink. But alcoholism is a disease. You don't know what you're gonna do that make you so addicted to it, and addiction is just doing something to the point that you know it adversely affects you. If you know alcohol adversely affects you and your decisions and what you got going on, and you still do that, then you're addicted. It doesn't matter what the something is. It could be a cake, it could be food, it could be weed, it could be smoking cigarettes, it could be whatever. If you keep doing it to your detriment, then you're addicted. And that's why knowing that definition about alcoholism, I would say that Jermall Charlo has an alcoholism problem. He does. I don't know if Jermell do, but what could put him in such a state that he was like, give a fuck. Was he quitting then? When they was just stripping him of his belt and he won't even putting up a fight. Was he quitting then? Can we say he was quitting then? I mean, if he done with boxing, he done. But was he quitting then? Jason said, ain't it funny how folks like to project Jamel's mentality on Bud? They say he just wants the Canelo fight as a retirement check. Yeah. You can make a case. You can arguably say you did not want to fight Bud. You was a stone cold badass fighting machine until the opportunity was presenting itself for you to face Bud Crawford. Then all of a sudden you fell back. You get a fight with Canelo you knew you couldn't beat. You knew you couldn't win, but hey, you had a boxer's chance. You lose the fight, you come back down. You took that fight even though you was gonna lose something. But maybe you felt like what you was gaining was even better. Okay, we give you that one. You come back down. All you had to do is fight Zoo, and you got your belt back. And you'd have been twice crowned undisputed, like they try to do with Crawford and Boots, and then Boots bag for the belt, get the belt through email, and then if you want undisputed, come and get Crawford. Like I already did that. So people can almost give you a pass for looking like it like that. But to let every belt go, and whether we can see that it's prudent that he should move up to 160 and his brother move up to 168, he has to see that. It ain't enough for us to see it. He wasn't showing no signs that he wanted to do that. Hey, I put the link. I've been put the link in the chat if y'all want to chime in. But yeah, I think we're seeing the demise of the Charlo twins. Now, let me see. I'm gonna show y'all somebody who's gonna take their place. Let me see. I gotta find it. I thought I had it up. Okay, yeah, I do have it up. Come back here and y'all watch this. This is not my content. I'm using it for educational purposes. Matter of fact, let me see if I still got that banner up. Okay. I do not own the rights to this program for educational purposes only. And that right there is Mr. Grandy. He is the father of these two young gentlemen. Listen. It's not my content, but look. Y'all remember these twins? I like this guy's attitude. And y'all can go to YouTube and find this video. I ain't gonna play too much of it, but it was for educational purposes. That was Mr. Grandy. He was the twins' father, the two little boys that impressed us with their knowledge of boxing and their focus of boxing and how they, was working with each other. They're professional fighters now. In case any of y'all didn't know, I just saw one of the ones fight. I don't know if they're identical twins. They certainly look alike. You can look just alike and not be identical, like Jermell and Jamal look just alike, but with subtle difference, you can tell them apart. even when you think they're identical, they could be not identical. But I think Jermell and Charlo, I mean Jermell and Jermall, I think they were identical. But the Grandy twins, they mannerable, they good hearted people. I hope that nothing but good people um and good advice is thrown their way, and I hope that they are able to navigate this boxing world in a positive and meaningful way without getting caught up in no bull. But you hope that about every fighter that becomes a boxer, for all of them. I do hope that for all of them. I wish that for Jamel and Jamal, but sometimes life get in the way, personal issues, addictions, or whatever. Sometimes we got to call it for what we see it. We have definitely, as collectively as a community, given the Charlos grace and mercy. Only they can tell us whether it's the end or not. And they certainly will probably have an opportunity to go differently. But from what I can see, I think they all out of passes. I mean, you get to a certain age, nobody wants to give you a pass. Usually it's around 25, so they had a nice little run. Jason said, "I'm sub to those young brothers. I wish them the best. I'm sub." What you meant, Jason? You know. But I put the link in there. ATL, anybody, Jason, anybody want to jump in and say y'all piece. I don't think it's a far stretch for me to say that the Charlo twins is looking like the beginning of their demise. And I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is. Demise in boxing don't mean demise in life. Don't mean they don't have a lot to look forward to in life. They done made a lot of money. They made some good decisions. They able to take care of their parents and their other family members and their children in the proper way. So commend them for that. But sometimes I don't know. You gotta pick your battles. You gotta be patient. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold. I don't even know if I'm singing the song right. Know when to walk away, know when to run. You got to count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there be enough to do something when the deal is done. The old Kenny Rogers song, shout out to him, rest in peace. Um, yeah. So tell me what y'all think about that. By the way, that Anthony Joshua won the boys fight, and we knew that was gonna happen. I knew that was gonna happen. I ain't bothered looking at it. It's a fight tonight. I don't know who fighting. I forgot, but it's a fight tonight, September 3rd. No, no, tomorrow night, which is weird because they the second, right? Jason said they have a YouTube channel, and I follow the twins. I want them to succeed, and like you said, I want them to avoid the bullshit in boxing. Yeah, Jason. If they ever listening to this podcast, I wish that for you too, Jermell and Jamal. Even though y'all have gotten on my fucking nerves a lot in the last 5 years, especially you, Jamel. But I've always rooted for you. I always wanted you to win. Just when you fight Terrence, of course not. I'm rolling with Terrence. That's my guy. But I don't hate. I don't hate you. I was happy for your undisputed championship. Of course I'm gonna be supportive of what you were doing and this, that, and the other. But you did most of this to yourself. And for the life of me, I don't know what happened and would love to know what happened. Why was you so blase, blah, casual, blase affair, like about them stripping all your belts? Why was you so casual about that? You didn't even try to put up a fight. You didn't even try to rebut it. Nothing. And there was so many people you were supposed to face, and you didn't want to face them. That's the only thing we can conclude. Because if you wanted to face them, you didn't make the fight, make sure it happened. Let the person is go. You didn't want to face them. It's not a far reach for me to say that. So you didn't want to face Timzu, uh, Murtazalev, Madrimal, Bud Crawford. You didn't want to face these people when you came back down. If you did made an attempt to fight somebody and been in communication with the sanctioning body so they be on the same page as you, should have learned that lesson when you postponed the Tim Zoo fight the first time. You were not in communication with the WBO, and you thought you got that kind of power like Earl had. I guess only Earl can have an accident, fake or not, and stand up and say, I'm pushing the fight off. I ain't fighting. And nobody challenged him to the legitimacy of that claim. Nobody did. Charlo tried it. It didn't work for him. And he tried it before Earl did. Earl tried it after Charlo, and it worked for him. But just say, anyway, fighting in the morning. Oh, okay, yeah, in Japan. Turkey Al Sheik trying to make anyway a household name and bring him over here. But yeah, he gotta leave Japan. I mean, the boxing mecca, as far as I'm concerned, is United States in Vegas. So I mean, other people, some people who was more favorable to that where they from could say England because the O2 arena and how Joshua sell out. I mean, yeah, I'll sell out too if the tickets is like under $10. Shit, I mean, what's that to say? And that's why Joshua get the success he does. But again, I don't know where they go from here. PBC done fell off the block a little bit. They still hanging on by a thread. They with Amazon Prime, but PBC is not the powerhouse they used to be. So what are the Charlos to do? They done alienated everybody. Do you think Eddie Hearn and them want Charlo on their roster? Do you think Bob Arum wants Charlo on their roster? Do you think Golden Boy wants Charlo on their roster? Now tell me, do you think that Charlo can strike out and just make his way without a promoter? These are relevant questions. That's why I say demise, because I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see the Charlos ever dishing their money out to make a fight. I don't see it. And ain't nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't want to pay for my look. You get rich off of spending other people's money. We all know that. But I mean, the shit that he's talked about, all these different people, why would Eddie want him? Eddie already going through an experiment with Boots. He should have learned from Andre. You know what I'm saying? They, like I said, the Charlos to their own fault sometimes cause a lot of uproar in boxing. Even going back to the fact that Jermall didn't defend his title since June 2021, and up until he fought Jose Benavidez, he ain't fight nobody, and he just fought Jose Benavidez, and he ain't all the way dog Benavidez out. He won, but it won't no grandiose type of match. If Benavidez did just a little of this or just a little of that, maybe it'd be different. But it was a good first fight back. But how Mauricio Suleiman allowed it to be a situation where everybody in 160 had to take a pause in their career over something that was going on with Jermall Charlo in his personal life. And everybody in the 154 division that wanted that opportunity, that crack at Jermell, was at a standstill because he didn't give a fuck. That's what it looked like, Jermell. Maybe you did care, but that's what it looked like. And I'm gonna tell you, until they start, and I'm probably the first person they're gonna say this, until they start giving a great incentive. Mm-mm. Once you become undisputed, what incentive do you have to stay and defend the title? Now, maybe, just maybe, they can get clever with Turkey Island Sheik being in the mix. They can get clever and say, hey, look, if you defend your undisputed title 5 times, on that fifth time and you win, we're going to give you $30 million bonus. Y'all think that's unreasonable? Or 15 or 20 or 25? Do y'all think that's unreasonable? That would definitely make me stay. Like, hold tight. You mean to tell me I could pick one, two, or three in either sanctioning body, one, two, or three, and just get up to 5 fights. And then on the fifth fight, I'm going to win, but I'm going to get a $30 million bonus. Yeah, I'll do it. And that would make for a greater story. Like, damn, that's when you could say, you could convince the public more that you were deserving of your undisputed, but that's just not how boxing goes. So you can't get mad at the Devin Haney's or the Terrence Crawford or whoever else or Usyk or anyway for when they get the belts, they drop it and they move up. You can't get mad at them. You can't even get mad at Charlo almost for taking the fight with Canelo because he gave plausible deniability. Can't say nothing negative. I can say, oh, you ducked it, Crawford. That's why you took the fight with Canelo. He had plausible deniability. Canelo is the cash cow. He is the pay-per-view champ. He had plausible deniability. So I can't say that now with a straight face because there's more evidence that point that, hey, you don't turn down the fight when the cash cow call you or the face of boxing call you. You don't turn that down. You take that. So then when he came back down, like I said, if he had that incentive, hey, defend this 5 times, on the fifth time we give you 30 million as a bonus. That's added extra to whatever you're gonna get when we negotiate that deal. Because at that time, he could be a $30 million fighter, win the fight, and then get an extra 30 million as an incentive. That would make for good boxing. But I don't know who can make that happen. Maybe Turkey. He said, Martin King Boxing is in the building. What's popping, King? He said, what's good, Queen? Boxing Fans Talk TV. I know it's been a minute since I seen you too. You should be well over 1,000. Nope, nope, nope. They don't give it to me. Everybody hit the like button, please. Please hit that like button. As soon as you come in, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. They were not, to all of y'all, they were not counting my shit. They actually erased all of it. And now I'm starting over. Can you believe? Now, for Martin King Boxing, you've been here for a long time with me. And I've been on here. This is my 3rd year. But would you believe that I got 603 minutes viewed counted to my favor? There was a time when I was at a year, I want to say a year and a half maybe, that I was like 300 away from the 4,000 required. And that's when they started racing the shit. I've had more people up in here, and I'll be like, hit the subscribe button, and it never buzzed the needle. And I know people was up in here. You can see that the people was up in here, and I don't know. I complained. I wrote letters, and that's their answer to me. Wipe everything clean and start over. So please hit the like button or whatever. If I didn't love boxing, I'd have been like, man, fuck this shit. But I love boxing, so that's why I'm here. To all of y'all looking at me at Facebook, do that for me. Do a solid. Go. It'll take you a minute or two. Go to your YouTube. Pull up Boxing Fans Talk TV. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, and you can back out. All these damn 300 so people I got in my Facebook. If y'all don't do that shit right now, what you waiting on? He said, appreciate it already. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. But I'm going to try to do my shows short. Hour 15, hour 30. And that's what I'm trying to do here lately, this second time around. I took a lot of breaks, a lot since last year. I had a lot on my plate getting ready for my daughter's wedding. That went off without a hitch. She had a Princess and a Frog wedding at Disney, no doubt. So it was a destination wedding, and I think I look right festive. I'm gonna show y'all a picture in a minute. He said, "Share, Queen. Thank you so much. Spread the word to everybody y'all know when y'all at other podcasts. Just be like, yo, go over to Miss T page and hit subscribe and like, her stuff. Even if you ain't watching, I need the algorithm. But this is what I had on at the wedding. That was my dress. We was real New Orleans, like active activists. He had on canary yellow. We looked like we was out of New Orleans for sure. The groom and his best men, they all had ties the same color of my dress. And I'm thinking, I did I have a picture? Nope, I don't. I don't have a picture of the bride and groom because I have videos. I have videos. Let me see. This might be my daughter. That's my daughter. That's my daughter. My beautiful little princess. Who's the queen now because she's married. She's off on her own. But yeah, the wedding was great. If y'all ever looking for a little wedding, you don't want to spend a whole lot of money. Disney it wasn't that bad. It seemed like a lot when you're not rich and you got other stuff going on at the same time as that. I was selling my house, y'all, and I had a lot to do before you sell a house. You gotta put money into it before you sell a house. So I was doing that too. But the wedding, I've heard horrible stories of how much weddings could cost. But she had a Disney wedding, and I think it was about right at 10,000. I mean, for the part that I had to play in, and thank God that my daughter and her future husband, split the costs with me. They didn't have to, but then again, some people say I didn't have to. But as always, the father of the bride, I didn't have help. I'm sorry. I'm cool with her father now, but he didn't help. Maybe he could, or maybe he couldn't. I didn't ask. I just tried to get it done. Get her done. That's what I did. And then like I said, I was trying to sell my house. I had things to fix on my house, everything, man. It was crazy. The week I got back, like I got back that Friday, that very next Friday, I was closing on the house. Oh Lord, you talking about no sleep. Whew. But it worked out and we got it done. So now I'm back. Um, I'm waiting on my house to be built. I'm moving out of state, so everything's cool. Thanks for all y'all support and y'all being there and everything. Uh, I hear you. Yeah, that was that was a lot. You don't even know you stressed when you going through stress. You don't even know it. But y'all go to let me put up the banner. Shut up. Won't y'all take y'all cell phone over there and go on and cop y'all a goat t-shirt. I'm gonna tell you, I got one. I buy all my material. That shirt feels so nice and comfy. I got another vendor. I don't know. Their shirts feel different. I'm gonna say different. Like you have to put stuff on shirt. You gotta know what type of shirt to put things on top of. This particular shirt, it can't be a thin. I got some t-shirts that is real thin, but this one you couldn't do it. So I got me another vendor. Um, I'm gonna tell you, go on and copy one. To the ladies, when you about to go get that wig split and you need something to cover the roots up for a hot second, there you go. Got a black one, white one, and they say this is yellow, but I call it tan. This is me in one of my other hats. I got that in black and that in all blue. All them jean, denim, whatever. I always show the Cowboys, but I got the Steelers, the Washingtons, and other teams, little shirts, his and her shirt. Um, and the B2B t-shirts, I like this one. And I got the real love, I got them in different, and they come in variety of colors, y'all. So I got the kissing you. When I made the kissing you and real love, I was thinking about songs. But yeah, I got some nice gear, shoes. some Chuck Taylors. I got some nice Chuck Taylors in there. I sell scented candles. What else we got in there? Phone cases. If you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, we got it for you. The hats, the sweaters, the hoodies, getting you ready for voting this year. Don't forget to vote. Go and check. Like me, I have to go, and I'm doing this tomorrow. Going to check on my registration of voting. I was already registered, everything good to go, but I just sold my house. So before they try to me thinking everything's good, and I go to vote, and then they throw my vote out. Before I go through any of that, I'm going to the county at the county level and be like, "Am I good? This is where I live now. Am I good? Because I don't want no shit. I want my vote to count." And y'all should all go out and vote. Now I can't tell you who to vote. I'm voting Democrat, Democrat for life. I don't care how y'all feel about it, because it don't bother me that y'all claim the other side or whatever. But to me, there's a person that's fit and there's a person that's not fit. I feel the same way about Donald Trump that I did before. But it ain't the end of the world if you vote for him, because Jerry Trump, aka Jerry Tasker, friend to the show, he's a Trump. Martin King said Jermell Charlo is more of a disappointment than Maul, in my opinion. PBC should have gave Maul more elite opportunities, like Triple G, for instance. I don't, it could be short sightedness on my part, but I don't really understand for them what was so bad that sorry knocked them off. I don't, and again I could be short sighted, and I don't mean to be. I'm very empathetic and sympathetic for them, but I don't. I mean, you've been given so much. Y'all been blessed. You really have been blessed from whence you came to where you are now. I never understood the angry side of both of them. I never understood that. And I never understood bad mouthing and bashing people that never said nothing to you. I never understood that. And I would say I do understand sibling rivalry, but I wasn't expecting it to come from twins. Maybe like I said, older sister, younger sister, older brother, younger brother, but never twins. Girl and boy twins are tight as a motherfucker, especially, you know, even regular twins. So I wasn't expecting that. But anywho, for whatever reason, I think their demise, we watched the beginning of their demise. And if you're really truthfully honest, it started so many years ago. But that's all I have today. Yeah, we got the fight tomorrow. I think Jessica said it's anyway. We're gonna be fighting early in the morning. For those of us who gonna get up and watch it. He's in a smaller weight class, so he don't get a lot of hoopla, but he need to come out of Japan, because Japan is not the Mecca. And everybody ain't gonna keep going over there. And everybody ain't gonna keep getting up early in the morning, to watch some fights or whatever. They just not gonna do it. So shout outs to anyway. Hope he good luck to him and his opponent. Hopefully they have a good match and both of them come out okay and healthy. Shout out to the Charlo Twins. I hope you guys come out on the other side healthy and more smarter with more wisdom and patience than before. Enjoy the money, the fruits of your labor. Find something else probably to do. That would be my advice, because boxing is too much for your mental. Both of theirs. But that's all I have. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll try to be here every day, even if I don't got nothing to say. Like I said, my show's gonna be short. They're gonna be like an hour. I try to do it right at an hour, but it could be less than an hour too. So I'm just trying to stay active and start this journey all over again. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't, and peace.